President Trump says he wants the Russia investigation to have a truly honest outcome. He ridiculed the probe and criticized his opponents at a rally in West Virginia just last night.
The reason why Democrats only talk about the totally made-up Russia story is because they have no message, no agenda, and no vision. Have you seen any Russians in West Virginia or Ohio or Pennsylvania? Are there any Russians here tonight? Any Russians? They can't beat us at the voting booths. So they're trying to cheat you out of the future and the future that you want.
CBS News chief Washington correspondent and Face the Nation anchor John Dickerson is with us now from Washington. John, good morning. The president's own lawyers describe this as standard operating procedure. Is impaneling a grand jury just that?
Well, it is that, but it can be a whole lot more. You know, what this really means is it doesn't mean that the president is in any new danger. It doesn't necessarily even mean that the grand jury or that there are going to be indictments about anybody in his first circle. But what it does mean is the administration's going to wear this heavy coat of having daily disclosures, news about the grand jury and who may or may not be meeting in it. It's going to wear that heavy coat for many more months. And that's both a distraction. It's then an invitation for the president to react in his colorful way. And as we get into an election year next year, it's more challenges for Republicans if there is continued talk about a grand jury and who's appearing before it and what may or may not be learned there.
John, can we ask you about these leaked phone conversations between the president and Turnbull of Australia and also Enrique Peña Nieto of Mexico? I think this strikes a lot of people as a big deal when conversations between foreign leaders, which are supposed to be private, get leaked, and that's out there. What do you make of this, and will foreign leaders stop calling the White House or Washington in general if they think it's going to be out there?
It is a big deal because presidents should be able to have these conversations in a free and open way. So much of public life is constrained by the fact that everybody is watching in every possible minute. It makes it very hard to get any business done. And so to have these kinds of transcripts out there is really terrible. It's probably breaking the law. But also, you know, it's a sign in this administration that somebody wants to do the president harm, I mean, or embarrass him anyway. Now, there have been lots and lots of leaks, but this one is of a different order. And it means despite the fact that they've gotten rid of a lot of people at the White House and there's been a kind of hunt for leakers, this is still going on. So it's a bad internal thing for the White House as well to have people in the system doing things like this that are really aimed just at embarrassing the president.
John, front page of the New York Times, former general taking control at the White House. It says Mr. Kelly cuts off rambling advisors mid-sentence. He listens on conversations between cabinet secretaries and the president. He's booted out lingering staff members. Will these changes have an effect on what we've seen so far?
Well, they should, because they are bringing the administration in line with what is essentially the practices that previous chiefs of staff have learned over time work in a White House. H.R. Haldeman, who was chief of staff to Nixon, basically wrote memos saying do all of this stuff before the Nixon administration. So it's, you know, they're behind the times a bit at the White House to be putting this kind of discipline in place. But it should help because a presidency is not a place of improvisation. And if you're going to have an improvisational president, then everybody else has to be working absolutely in sync with each other. And that appears to be what Chief of Staff Kelly is doing.
John, quickly, there were two bipartisan bills introduced yesterday to try to make it hard for the president to fire Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Will these pass?
I don't know if they'll pass, but they are an interesting development here. We see this move by Congress essentially to rein in the president, to take what used to be kind of norms and standards that no president would cross and try to basically codify them into law. We saw the Congress do this on these Russia sanctions this week. We're seeing them do it on health care, too. So this is Congress asserting itself with a president who has shown a willingness to kind of cross some traditional boundaries.
John Dickerson, thank you very much. We'll see you on Sunday, because on Face the Nation, John talks with Republican Ohio Governor John Kasich and Democratic Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper about their two-party approach to health care. Plus, Republican Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas and former Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson. That is Sunday here on CBS.